Arsenal have returned to the training ground ahead of their huge Premier League clash against Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, and the mood inside the camp appears focused, confident and determined after the statement victory in the North London derby. The 4-1 win away at Tottenham was more than just 3 points. It was a response to criticism, a reaction to the disappointing draw at Wolves, and a reminder that this squad still has the mentality required to compete for the Premier League title, especially with Manchester City continuing to apply pressure from just behind them in the table. As preparations intensify for Chelsea's visit, the biggest talking point surrounds Bukayo Saka, who was caught awkwardly late in the derby when Xavi Simons fell onto his ankle, forcing the winger to receive treatment before being substituted. However, there is growing optimism that Saka avoided any serious damage because he was seen celebrating with his teammates at full time and has since been involved in training, suggesting that he is expected to be fit and available for Sunday's showdown. Mikel Arteta will still make a late assessment, but internally there is belief that the England international will be ready to start, which is a massive boost considering his importance to Arsenal's attacking rhythm and creativity. The other major selection decision facing Arteta comes in the number 10 position, where Martin Odegaard is now fully back from his knee injury after featuring from the bench against Tottenham, while Eze delivered a sensational performance in that derby by scoring twice and playing with confidence and freedom. Eze will feel he has earned the right to keep his place after that display, and there is a tactical possibility that both he and Odegaard could start together, potentially with Eze drifting to the left side, although Arteta has previously been cautious about using that combination for extended periods. More likely is that one of them starts centrally behind the striker, while Gabriel Martinelli's pace could be preferred on the left wing to stretch Chelsea's defensive line and exploit space in behind, particularly if the visitors commit bodies forward. Kai Havertz is pushing to return to the squad to face his former club, but Arsenal are expected to manage his comeback carefully following his recent hamstring issue, as the club do not want to risk a setback at this critical stage of the season. Up front, Victor Gykores is almost certain to lead the line once again after his superb brace against Tottenham, which took his season tally to an impressive level and underlined why Arsenal invested so heavily to bring him in last summer. There is also an interesting financial subplot surrounding Gykores because his goal contributions are linked to performance bonuses owed to Sporting, and another major attacking display this weekend could trigger additional payments, although the primary focus for both player and club remains delivering results rather than accounting milestones. In defence, Piero Hincapié has continued to impress with his composure and defensive awareness, and he appears set to keep his place at left-back ahead of Ricardo Calafiori, while Ben White remains a doubt after missing the derby with what Arteta described as a small issue. If White is unavailable, Jurrien Timber may continue at right back, although there is also the possibility of rotation given the heavy minutes he has played this season, with alternative solutions available if Arteta decides fresh legs are required. The predicted shape remains the familiar 4-2-3-1 system, with David Raya in goal, a back four likely consisting of Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Hincapié, a midfield base of Martin Zubimendi alongside Declan Rice, and an attacking trio supporting Gykores that could include Saka, Odegaard or Eze and Martinelli. Arsenal head into this fixture knowing that Manchester City can temporarily close the gap with a win before their match, meaning the pressure will be firmly on Arteta's men to respond and maintain control at the top of the table. Chelsea, despite their inconsistency, remain dangerous opposition with individual quality capable of punishing mistakes, and London derbies often carry unpredictable elements that require discipline and composure. Inside the Arsenal dressing room, there has reportedly been honest and firm communication among the players following the Wolves setback, with senior figures encouraging accountability and mental strength, and that unity was clearly reflected in the commanding performance at Tottenham. Declan Rice has spoken about the importance of players expressing themselves openly within the group, while Gykores has emphasised that honesty and shared responsibility are essential in high-pressure moments, comments that highlight the maturity developing within this squad. Beyond the Premier League focus, Arsenal also have one eye on their Champions League campaign after being drawn against Bayer Leverkusen in the round of 16, a tie that presents both challenge and opportunity. But for now, the attention is entirely on Chelsea and protecting their league position. Injury-wise, the only confirmed absentee remains Mikel Merino, whose recovery from a foot stress fracture continues, and he is unlikely to feature again this season, while other minor doubts will be clarified closer to kick-off. Sunday's encounter represents another significant test of Arsenal's championship credentials because maintaining momentum after an emotional derby win is often just as difficult as responding to disappointment, and title-winning teams must demonstrate consistency regardless of context. As Arsenal return to training this week, the intensity has reportedly been high, the focus sharp, and the message from Arteta unmistakable that every remaining match is an opportunity to strengthen belief and assert authority. With Saka expected to be fit, Gykores in lethal form, and competition for places increasing across midfield and defence, Arsenal approached this London showdown knowing that victory would not only keep Manchester City at bay, but also reinforce the sense that this team is evolving into a genuine champion. All eyes now turn to the Emirates Stadium, where another high-stakes chapter of Arsenal's season is about to unfold, and where the Gunners will aim to deliver a performance that proves the North London derby was not a peak, but a platform for sustained success. Arsenal could again see their lead at the top of the Premier League cut to 2 points by the time they face Chelsea on Sunday. Arsenal quietened the noise last weekend. The Gunners' slip-up at Wolves had left the door open for Manchester City to close the gap at the top of the Premier League to 2 points, and Pep Guardiola's team obliged, beating Newcastle United on Saturday. It put even more pressure on Sunday's North London derby, but Igor Tudor's Tottenham offered little resistance as doubles from Victor Gykores and Ebereki Eze propelled Mikel Arteta's team to another 4-1 win over their rivals. That victory restored Arsenal's 5-point advantage at the top of the standings, and bar Declan Rice's mistake that led to Randall Kolo Muani's goal, it was a dominant Gunners display as they got back on track in their title bid. Man City have a game in hand on the Gunners, who will once again have to handle playing after Guardiola's side this weekend. City head to Elland Road to take on Leeds United this Saturday, with Arteta's side facing another local rival as Chelsea rock up at Emirates Stadium. The Blues do so on the back of conceding a late equaliser against Burnley. Here we delve into the key insights ahead of another mouth-watering Premier League tussle. What's expected? These sides met recently in the EFL Cup semi-finals, with Arsenal progressing 4-2 on aggregate. Liam Rosenior faced some scrutiny for Chelsea's performance in the second leg, as trailing 3-2 in the tie overall, the Blues never really got going. They had 14 attempts, yet only 2 hit the target, and their chances were worth just 0.64 expected goals. XG. Former Chelsea man Kai Havertz delivered the knockout blow late on. While Arsenal were happy to sit back and soak up the pressure on that occasion, the onus will be on them on Sunday, especially if, as expected, Man City get a positive result against Leeds. Chelsea are winless in their last 8 Premier League games against Arsenal, D3L5, their longest since a run of 19 between 1995 and 2005. Arsenal have won their last 3 home league games against Chelsea, last winning more consecutively between 1990 and 1994. 5. The Opta supercomputer is still backing Arsenal for the title at 83.1%. And the same model is making the Gunners the big favourites to win this match, with a 62.8% likelihood of the hosts taking all 3 points. Chelsea came out on top in just 17.4% of the simulations, while there is a 19.7% chance of a draw. Painting London town red. In his second game in charge of Arsenal in December 2019, Arteta lost 2-1 at the Emirates against Chelsea. Since then, his Gunners side have lost just 1 of 15 games against the Blues in all competitions, W10D4. In fact, Arteta's 10 wins against Chelsea are the joint most he has managed against an opponent while in charge of Arsenal, along with 10 versus Wolves. Arteta's Arsenal have scored more goals, 31, against Chelsea than they have any other team, and Arsenal have recent history on their side when it comes to derby fixtures. Arsenal have lost just 1 of their last 25 Premier League London derby matches, W18D6, a 1-0 home defeat to West Ham last February. Since the start of 2022 to 2023, the Gunners have scored in all but 2 of 44 London derbies, both against West Ham, 0-2 in December 2023, 0-1 in February 2025. keep the discipline, Chelsea have lost 8 of their last 9 away Premier League matches against sides starting the day top of the table, winning the other 2-1 against Man City in May 2021. They have played 9 away top-flight games against Arsenal when the Gunners are top and won 1. D2L6, a 2-0 win in March 1948. But that is not to say there isn't some hope for the Blues. Chelsea have also won each of their 2 away Premier League matches under Rosenior so far. Liverpool's Arne Slot was the last Premier League boss to win his first 3 top-flight away games in charge, while the last Englishman to do so was Tim Sherwood at Spurs in 2013-14. However, after conceding late on in their home draw with Burnley, Chelsea have now dropped 19 points from winning positions this season. Only West Ham, 20, have dropped more points from such scenarios in the competition in 2025-26. The Blues have scored first in their last 2 games, but did not win either of those fixtures, 1-1 versus Burnley, 2-2 versus Leeds. They last failed to win 3 in a row despite going 1-0 up in each back in May 2016. These teams drew the reverse fixture 1-1 back in November, with Mikel Merino netting Arsenal's equaliser at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea were arguably unfortunate not to take more than a point from that game, and they may well have done if they had not been reduced to 10 men, with Moises Caicedo seeing red.